What's going on, folks? Bill here from the Sports Insanity Network, and welcome to another edition of Murphy's View. Well, we got another game to talk about. We are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Tennessee Titans. Game will be played on Saturday, and the Tampa Bay Bucs, they are first in the NFC. They finished first in the NFC South with a 13-4 record. And they lost in the divisional round to the eventual Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. New change at the helm this season. Bruce Arians has stepped down as head coach, and he is now the Tampa Bay senior football consultant with a career record of 80, 48, and 1, and a Super Bowl champion. On behalf of all of us here at SIN, Bruce, we wish you the best in your new endeavor in Tampa. So taking over is now Todd Bowles, who's 26-41. He was the secondary head coach for the Browns, Cowboys, Dolphins, and Eagles. He was the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals and the Bucs, and was an interim head coach for the Eagles, and then the head coach for the New York Jets. So he's more of a defensive guy, but Bruce Arians said that he's a good coach and the team will be left in good hands, and he's a good teacher because he said part of being a good coach is being a good teacher. And Bowles was thrown into that category. So, Todd, good luck. Okay, and now we got to talk about the elephant that's not in the room. Tom Brady, who was expected to return today, is not going to be returning today. He had a personal issue to deal with, and they said there was no current timetable on his return right now. So the ball will be going to Blaine Gabbert, who got 67 passing yards last year. Now, as we talk about that offensive line, which was considered one of the top offensive lines in the game last year, but we got some problems. Al Mapper retired at the end of last year. Ryan Jensen will be out for the majority of the season with a knee injury. And so now replacing Jensen will be Robert Hansey from Notre Dame in his second year in the pros. He is moving from right center to tackle. He's from my beloved Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And also joining him is Luke Goedeke, who is from Central Michigan, and Aaron Stiney, I think his name is, Stiney, who just got re-signed this year. I couldn't find much stats on these people because they're like backups, but they are now because you got a rookie and two mainly backups, but they're now going to be playing to be that offensive line. But it could be tough because, you now have to be the offensive line for, I hate to say it, the greatest quarterback in the NFL. God, please forgive me for saying that. But you are now got to protect Tom Brady when he comes back, whenever that may be. Because like I said, there is no timeline for them at this point. So, now, I could see Tampa Bay going 12-5, and their biggest competition in the NFC South, I actually think, and this might be a weird pick, I'm going to say the Carolina Panthers. I think they're going to be their biggest competition. If you got Baker Mayfield starting and Chris McCaffrey, if he's healthy, I think Carolina could give Tampa Bay a run for their money. So they could be their biggest competition. But just like any season, my friends, we have to wait and see. Okay, now shooting over from the NFC South to the AFC South, we have the Tennessee Titans, who last year finished 12-5. So, and last year they lost the divisional round to the eventual AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. Have you guys noticed that both the Bucs and the Titans lost to the eventual Super Bowl competitors? Have you noticed that? You have? In the same round? No? Okay, guess we're going to move on then. All right. Moving right along. Okay, moving right along. Mike Vrabel was the coach of the year last year. And now there is a quarterback competition that is going on between current quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who last year threw for 3,734 yards and 21 passing touchdowns, and the newest draft pick from Liberty University, Malik Willis, who last week did a running touchdown in the preseason game against Baltimore. He was 6 for 11 with an 88.1% rating. In the 2 seasons at Liberty, Willis threw for 5,107 yards and 47 touchdowns. And the 23-year-old added 1,822 yards on the ground and 27 rushing cords over the same time. And he's never fumbled. And while Willis was there as a full-time starter, the Liberty Flames went 17-6. So, what do I think is going to come of Tannehill versus Willis? I think we're going to be seeing a quarterback competition here. Because here's the thing, and I said this in my draft video. Go back and watch that if you need a refresher. If you were dead set on picking Ryan Tannehill, why would you pick Malik Willis? Now granted, they picked him in the 3rd round. And I said, they're going to pick a quarterback in the 3rd round. But I didn't think Willis was going to be in the 3rd round. There was like a less than 1% chance. I thought he was going to be gone by then. And they would have gone for someone like Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder. And also 2 months before the draft, they were saying Tannehill's our guy. So, I hate to say this, as much as I like Ryan Tannehill, I think Malik Willis is going to get the starting job. Again, we got to see what happens over preseason, and Vrabel is going to make his decision. But I'm starting to think if you're picking Willis and he's doing good in preseason, Tannehill may go, bye-bye! But we have to wait and see. But I honestly think Malik Willis is going to be the new quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I will take the L and move on with my life if that happens. I swear to the audience who's watching, if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. Okay, so besides new quarterbacks, another thing happened in the draft this year. The Titans traded the Eagles, their top receiver, A.J. Brown, for a draft pick. And they got Treylon Burks. 66 receptions, 1,104 yards, 11 touchdowns, 112 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. That's Treylon Burks from the University of Arkansas. And the other big receiver is going to be from the defending champion Los Angeles Rams, Robert Woods, who last year 45 receptions, 556 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. Who do I think is going to replace A.J. Brown? This may be a weird opinion, but I'm going to say Treylon Burke, the guy who they traded for, because that's who they ended up picking. And the reason being is Robert Woods, he's getting up there in age. He's coming off a torn ACL. Is he going to be the same? Is Robert Woods going to be the same? Now, he could be a top receiver for the Titans. But you got to look at those factors I just point out. Age and injury prone. So I think they're going to go to someone younger like Treylon Burks. And I think he's going to be their next big wide receiver. And now, who do I think is going to be the biggest threat to the Titans in the AFC South? I think it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Like, you got a new quarterback with Matt Ryan. And you have Jonathan Taylor, who is a freaking beast, who had one of the best seasons I saw last year. And also at wide receiver, you have Michael Pittman. So I honestly think if anybody is going to be a competition for the Tennessee Titans in the AFC South, I think it is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. And I could see the Titans this year going 11-6. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. And if you want to see more, and why wouldn't you, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com, read our bios, check out our blogs, and check out all the podcasts such as 19th Hole, Wishbone Shotgun, Breakaway Bandits, The Face Turn, and, of course, the one that started it all, the Granddaddy, the Sports Insanity Podcast. Thank you very much, folks. I'm Bill Murphy. Stay safe and take care.